Stampers! Welcome to another week of Watch It Weekly Wednesday. I'm Aubrey and I'm excited to share with you today a new product that Stampin Up has come out with called the Stamparatus. You've probably heard a little bit about this, but I wanted to give some details on what it is and what you can do with it. A lot of you may even have it because Stampin Up did a pre-order a few months ago that you could purchase it, but now you can't purchase it until the new Stampin Up catalog comes out in June. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what it is so that you can either be prepared to use it or be prepared to buy it because it's a really fun tool. So this is what it looks like. It's a stamp positioning tool and it's not like any other stamp positioning tool out there. So let me give you some of the details on it. So it has two plastic plates here and they both come in to stamp. They also are removable and can be flipped around. So you have 4 stamping surfaces, one on each side, which is really awesome. It has a foam mat that's used really nicely with our photopolymer stamps to give a nice crisp image. It has magnets and they're held on the back here. You can see they have 2 holders. And these are really, really strong magnets. If they get close to each other, they will fly together and they can break. So you want to make sure that you keep those far enough apart on your work surface so that that doesn't happen. But they're very strong and they're nice to hold down paper that you're stamping on. That's kind of some of the details of it. I wanted to show you how to use it and some techniques that you can do with it. I'm going to start just by simply showing how you can position the stamps correctly together and you can stamp multiple things without having to move your stamps at all. So I'm just going to take this piece of white cardstock here and I'm going to put my magnets down. We'll put them on either side just like this. And that's just going to hold my piece of paper in place while I'm stamping. I'm going to use this sweet little something stamp set with this cute bunny and I'm going to show you how to stamp this 3-step stamping image with the Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm going to start with my most detailed image here, my most detailed bunny, and I'm just going to lay it right down on the paper, just like that, and I'm going to bring one plate down and grab the bunny, just like that, okay? And then I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm just going to take the ink and ink up my bunny, just like that. And I'm going to bring him down and stamp, just like that. Next, I'm going to take my middle image that has the next amount of detail on it, and I'm just going to line it right up. Sorry if my head gets in the way there. Look right over. And I'm just going to line him right up on top of that image where I want it to be stamped. And I'm going to bring my next hinge over and pick him up again. Right like that. That's my paper. And then I'm going to use Blushing Bride. So you noticed I used my darkest color and then I'm going to go to my middle color. I'm going to use Blushing Bride on this one. And bring it over and stamp. Perfect. And then I'm going to take my most solid image and I'm going to use Pink Pirouette on this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this plate right here that already has one of the bunnies on it, but I'm just going to take it out and flip it and put it back in. Make sure you have a scratch piece of paper underneath you. And again, I'm just going to lay this right on top of my image. Just like that, where I want it to be stamped. Oh, let's move them over just a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to bring that plate down, pick it up, take my Pink Pirouette, and then bring him down. I guess it might be a she because she's pink, and stamp. And there you go. You have a perfectly stamped image. The best thing is that I can do this again. I'm just going to flip it over for these purposes. I'm just going to flip it over, put it right in the same position that it was, and I can do it all over again. So we'll go back to my most detailed image, the one that I stamped with my Flirty Flamingo. Stamp. And then, whoops, my Blushing Bride over here, my middle image. And stamp. And then flip it over again. My solid image, my more solid image with my pink pirouette. And stamp it again. Just like that. And the cool thing is I didn't have to change the placement of my stamps at all. It's all just lined up for me, and I can do multiple cards of the same image, and it's that easy. Oh, it's so awesome. You have to try it. So I'm going to clean up my area here real quick, and then I'll show you the next technique that you can do with the Stamparatus. Okay, so the next technique that I want to show you with the Stamparatus is called the hinge step, and this is probably one of my very favorites that you can do with the Stamparatus. So on this one, I'm going to be using a regular clear rubber stamp set, so I don't need this foam pad. So I'm just going to set that aside. Let me grab my magnets back out. So now I have my magnets out. The cool thing about not using the foam is this has grit on it, so it's a lot easier to line things up, which is great. So I'm just going to take my piece of paper that I've cut, and with this one, I'm going to use this stamp set. It's called Lovely Inside and Out, and I'll show you why it's so awesome, but these words here line up so perfectly with what I'm going to do. So let me show you that. I'm going to use this Hugs, and I'm just going to line them up here. Oops, I need to use my magnets first. Put them on either side. Hugs, and I'm just going to bring my side plate over and pick it up, and I'm going to use powder pink. And I'm just going to stamp Hugs, and then I'm going to take my plate out and move it down one hinge, just like that, and then ink it up again, bring it over, stamp. Oh, and see, I missed a little spot there, which that's okay. I'm just gonna take it over. Because it's already positioned perfectly, I can just re-stamp it right where it is, and it's gonna be perfectly in place. It's so amazing that way. So I'm going to lift it up again, move it down a hinge, stamp. I keep missing that bottom of that H. There we go. And I'm going to move that up a little bit. And one more. Move it down. Bring it over and stamp, just like that. Okay, and then because I want one of these Hugs to stand out, I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo, and because it's darker than the powder pink, I can go right over the top of the stamp, just like this, and I'm going to move it up just one hinge, and I'm going to stamp it over the powder pink that I already did, and it just makes that one Hug stand right out. It's pretty awesome. So cute, and such a fun way to stamp and get the cute stacked words look. It's so cute. Let me show you the finished sample of this one here. Sending you hugs, 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 and kisses. So cute and so fun. Okay, let me show you a few others that I've done using this hinge step technique. Here's one you can see in the background. I used it. And then on this one, I used it with the roses to do on this card. So fun, and there's so many ways that you can use that technique to make a different variety of cards. All right, for this next technique that I want to show you, I can't really take credit for it because I saw it in a group that I'm a part of on Facebook, the girl that did it, her name was Tandra Boyer, I believe is how you say it. And she showed it, and I thought it was such a fun technique. So I wanted to show you that one too. She called it the Stamparatus slap, which kind of sounds scary, like slap, you know. But I want to show you because it gives a really, really cool look to a card. So I have taken this piece of paper already, and I have used Brusho on it, and it's completely dry because I've noticed that with this technique, it's best that the paper that you're using isn't wet from the watercoloring anymore. So I'm just going to set that down here with my stamps, just on either side. And for this card, I'm going to use the stamp set Beautiful Day. This is one of my favorite sets from the Occasions catalog. And something that's cool, it's been verified that this stamp set will be carried over into our 2018-2019 annual catalog next year. So this one's a great one to have. So I'm going to use the butterfly from that set. And like before, I'm just going to set him right down where I want him on my paper. And I'm going to bring my plate over and grab him. I'm going to take my ink. On this one, I'm going to use Island Indigo and Soft Sky. I'm going to start with my Soft Sky, and I'm just going to stamp all over my butterfly. Get them all inked, just like that. And then for my Island Indigo, I just want kind of part of him to be, to have the Island Indigo. So I'm just going to do on this wing and down here, and then a little bit in the middle. So you can see he's kind of colored with the Island Indigo, but not all the way. So he just has a little bit of that color. Next, I'm going to take water, and I just am using one of our Stampin' Up spritzers, and I'm going to just spray all over the butterfly so that it's a really wet ink. Just like that. Okay, now here is the fun slap part. So this is where the name comes from. I'm just going to take my plate and I'm going to let it fall right onto the paper. Just like that. Like I said, it's kind of scary to think you're just slapping it down, but it really is just fine. And it gives a really cool watercolory look on your paper, just like that. So I'm going to let that sit there and dry. Let me show you the sample that I came up with using that. Here it is with my butterfly. You can see kind of the splatter here. And I just think that's such a fun technique, and I think it's a really fun way to get a fun watercolory look on your card. So those are some ways to use the Stamparatus. So the Stamparatus retails for $49, and it will be available when the new annual catalog comes out in June, which is really exciting. But we actually have an extra Stamparatus that we want to give away to one lucky person. To enter this giveaway, make sure you subscribe to Stamping Jill on YouTube, and make sure you comment below to let us know that you subscribed. Like Stamping Jill on Facebook, and share the video with all your friends so they have a chance to enter the giveaway too. So if you like this Stamparatus and you have any questions, please let us know by commenting below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for another Watch It Weekly Wednesday.